Welcome back to the channel. This week's political meltdown in Westminster has done something no opposition could manage on its own. It exposed the Labour Party's deep-seated cultural problem, a problem that stretches far beyond one controversial appointment and goes straight to the heart of how modern Labour leadership operates. What we're seeing isn't just the fallout from the Peter Mandelson debacle, it's the unravelling of a party that still defines itself as a progressive force, yet clings to the same old elite networks and boys' club culture that voters rejected decades ago. Labour's own women MPs are now openly saying what Conservatives and traditional voters have suspected for years, that Starmer's administration resembles an exclusive club where old networks matter more than merit, and where loyalty to insiders trumps accountability. Be clear, this isn't some fringe faction complaining quietly in private. These are female Labour MPs with long-standing careers, elected on the largest female Labour slate ever returned to the House of Commons in 2024. Now, why does this matter? Because in theory, Labour marks itself as the party of representation, equality and opportunity. In practice, it still looks like a party run by a small circle of men who appoint each other to the positions of power and circle the wagons when things go wrong. The Mandelson appointment and now this backlash is a symptom of something much bigger, a leadership that is tone-deaf, internally resistant to scrutiny and disconnected from the very principle it claims to be a champion of. Let's unpack this. The Mandelson affair has already cost the Prime Minister 2 senior aides, his Chief of Staff and his Director of Communications, and opened a leadership crisis that threatens to unfurl Labour's majority. But what has inflamed members of his own party, especially women, isn't simply the political embarrassment, it is the pattern the scandal reveals. Labour women point out two things. First, that Downing Street has repeatedly overlooked women for senior roles. And second, that the culture around Starmer has until now been dominated by male advisors and male power brokers. That's why you saw immediate anger from voices like Baroness Hazarika, calling it shameful and characterising the episode as male power and a boys' club. Language you would normally expect from Conservative opposition, not figures within Labour's own ranks. When female MPs say they've expressed concerns privately about this culture and been dismissed as disloyal, you have to question the sincerity of Labour's claims about inclusivity. And when those same MPs are now demanding Starmer dismantle these networks instead of papering over the cracks, it shows how deep the frustration runs. Here's the uncomfortable truth for Labour. Claims to champion equality mean nothing if women inside your own party feel sidelined. And let's be honest, this isn't just about internal squabbling. This is about voters watching a party that says one thing in public and does quite another behind closed doors. A party that talks endlessly about diversity but still promotes the same men from the same circles to the same positions of influence. Now, to be clear, not every voice within Labour is on the same page. Some senior figures have rallied behind Starmer, insisting that stability matters and that he is the elected leader. But that's not the same as addressing the systemic criticism. Saying we support him doesn't solve the cultural issues women MPs are pointing to. It just pushes those concerns back into the shadows. And yes, Starmer is attempting to respond. He plans to meet the Women's Parliamentary Labour Party to listen to their concerns. But listening is not dismantling. Iteration is not reform. Meetings are not accountability. What many in Labour want is not just token female appointments. They want women in positions of real power, where their voices are heard, respected and acted upon. They want senior roles filled in merit and representation, not patronage. They want a leadership that doesn't automatically default to the same inner circles that have ruled Labour for decades. There's also a larger irony here. This boys' club criticism hits exactly the time the government is supposed to be rolling out a strategy to tackle violence against women and girls. That juxtaposition doesn't just look bad, it feeds a narrative that Labour talks about priorities for women in government, but fails to live up to them internally. This matters because British voters, especially female voters, are watching. They remember when political parties tried to brush aside similar criticisms. They remember when rhetoric didn't match reality. And they remember how that disconnect ended careers and lost elections. Labour's problems aren't just about Mandelson, they're about judgment, they're about culture, they're about a leadership that insists it is inclusive while critics, within its own ranks say the opposite. They're about a party that claims to represent modern Britain but still operates like a Westminster's boys' club. Starmer's response so far, reshuffles, meetings, apologies, looks like damage control, not reform. And voters aren't looking for spin, they're looking for substance. Because when you have the women inside your own Labour Party telling you that something is fundamentally wrong, ignoring that message is not just political malpractice, it's a recipe for electoral disaster. Again, Labour likes to think it speaks for the future of Britain, but it cannot deal with culture and accountability within its own house. Then it has no moral authority to lecture the rest of the country. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want more honest political commentary and don't want to miss what's really happening behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments below.